over 50, mastering your mindset. Because I know for me, I'm always needing some help mastering this mind and getting my mind straight and making sure I'm having positive energy, positive thoughts. So that's what me and my guest, we're going to be talking about that today. But before we get started, let me introduce myself. Welcome to Unapologetically 50 Plus, where we delve into the real, the raw, and the rewarding experiences of Black women 50 and beyond. My name is Angela, so welcome. I also have one favor to ask. It's a big one. I have a favor to ask. If you find any value or enjoy the content, please remember to subscribe, like, and hit that notification and let YouTube know that you want to see more of this kind of content. You help us build this community. It's free, and I truly appreciate your support. So thank you. So, as we know, a healthy mindset is vitally important, especially for women, Black women 50 and older. It helps us to foster resilience, it's self acceptance, and prioritizing our personal well being. Having a healthy mindset supports better stress management, decision making, and emotional health while also reducing stress related conditions. And by embracing this shift, we can confidently navigate this stage of our life with purpose, peace, and optimism. So, with that said, I want to bring on my guest, Miss Kathy Hampton. But let me give you a little information about her. So, Kathy Hampton is from Wells, or is the founder of Wellside Retreat in 2007. She's a wellness advocate and mentor. She provides women with opportunities for respite, clarity, and healing. She's a licensed massage therapist. I know who I'll be calling when I move out to Portugal. She's a certified life coach, certified, and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, so she can go ahead and pronounce it again when she comes on here. Ashwach, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, and other somatic healing practices. She's skilled in meditation and mindfulness techniques, dedicated to guiding women towards more fulfilled lives. And she also has a YouTube podcast that she will talk about as well. But let me bring her on, Miss Kathy Hampton. Hey, lady.
Hi.
How you doing?
Fine, I'm fine. We finally did it.
Yes, we finally did
I'm
it.
proud.
We finally did
I'm
it.
proud of
So, I
you
mean,
for hanging in there and getting me here, and I appreciate being
you're
to join
welcome.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome, lady. I love watching your podcast with the journaling with me.
Uh-huh.
I know that has helped me. I'm not the best at journaling. I'm not the best at focusing and staying focused on, when it comes to practices like this.
Mhm.
So knowing that you're out there and helping ladies, I'm sure, and gentlemen, if they want to tune in, to really focus on journaling because it really does help. It really does.
It does.
So
It
before we
does.
get started with the questions,
Mhm.
the one the practice that I certified in, what was that one? I know I pronounced it
No,
wrong.
it's Ashiatsu, and Ashiatsu is the name for it's actually really like stretching. It's a modality of massage.
Oh,
But
oh,
another name for it is shiatsu. Shiatsu.
shiatsu.
But yeah, the
Oh,
A
okay.
is okay. I forget. I think the Ashiatsu is Korean and Shiatsu is Japanese. So
Mm,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Nice. Nice. So how long have you been doing that? How long have you
Since
been?
2007, I got my license in massage therapy,
Mhm.
and that was the modality of massage that I favor quite
Oh,
a
okay.
bit. I like
Hmm.
the fluffy, relaxing massages, giving those also, but
Mhm, mhm.
um, shiatsu is almost like let's see, it's like with the needles. It's
Oh,
almost
acupuncture?
acupuncture. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah,
almost like
okay.
acupuncture. You use certain points of the body to do the pressure on, to use the pressure on,
Oh, okay.
which in fact helps other parts of the body. So one
Right,
point
right.
will react in another area of the body. So I
Yeah. I
prefer,
like
yeah. And you do it
yeah.
with on the floor on a futon
Uh-huh.
mattress, fully
Okay.
clothed. It's
Okay.
and yeah, and you you're in the California, so
Yeah.
there's tons of shiatsu
Oh, yeah.
studios all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love, I have an acupuncturist I go to, and it's really interesting, and I know we're kinda going off topic, but not off topic. It's
Mhm.
really interesting that when I went in, I'd been fighting this flu, and when I went in and she was working on, making sure getting rid of the congestion and so forth,
Mhm.
she put him in certain places, and she's done it before, put him in the needles in the same places, but this time, the pain resonated, and she said, "That's because I'm sick and that energy is not flowing." So,
That's right.
it's very interesting just knowing that our bodies, we don't think about it, we always think about our bodies as being this machine, but it's not, it's energy.
That's right.
So it's
That's right.
energy. So that's very interesting. So,
Yeah.
um, and we'll talk about the Wellside Retreat a little bit later, but I wanted
Okay.
to start asking these since this is your area of expertise and you do your journaling and so forth on your
Mhm.
YouTube channel. What are some of the most common mindset challenges women in our age range face? And how do you, when you're coaching them, how do you
Sure.
face and address these issues with them? Hi, Miss
Sure.
Kim.
Hey, Kim S. Good to see her. Um, yeah, so I took some notes on your questions because you're pretty in depth with your questions, and I can't speak off the cuff, but I wanted to give some, you know, full answers,
Okay.
complete answers. I think not the problem, the challenges that Black women 50 and over face is the fact that they may not be aware of the that they are not caring for themselves,
Okay.
believe it or not. And when I say that, mindset is about an attitude that we have. It's a belief system in ourselves, um, that we hold on to and have been holding on to for a long time. If you're blessed to be 50 and over, we have
Right.
lived through some stuff. We've lived through um, a lot.
Yeah.
Whether you've had children, whether or not you've been married, and I say whether or not you
Right.
have been through it, through challenges with our bodies, mind, and spirit. And what
Mhm.
happens is when we go through many years, decades of change that we don't actually tap into. We believe that it is part of life that we change, and so we
Right.
constantly, going through changes that are common among everyone, but not everyone um, has reactions to the same types of changes that go on in our bodies, minds, and spirit because we are all different. So when we don't touch in with ourselves, especially when there's external um, situations going on, because we're all different and we all face different things. When we don't tap in to ourselves and are looking outward instead of inward, because we
Mhm.
are our eyes are open and we are looking outward. We don't
Yes.
take the time to get in touch with ourselves. So that's one
Mhm.
um, challenge, is that we're looking outward. We're not looking at ourselves to care for, because we believe if we're doing the right thing, we're eating, sleeping, going to work, raising a family.
Right.
We believe that this is the right thing. Our
Right.
society
Right.
has told us to do these things. I'll put my glasses back
Right.
on. So we we don't touch in with ourselves. We don't do the introspection that, ask ourselves, how are you feeling today? We don't say
Yeah.
that to ourselves out loud.
Right.
We say that to other
Right.
people. And so we aren't caring for ourselves adequately. We aren't caring for ourselves with sustainability or longevity. With that in
Hmm.
mind, really, we hope to be speaking, or speaking to other people about, so and so's age, but not thinking I'm going to live until this time. So we aren't going to. We're not programming ourselves. We are
Right.
fearful of change. That's a challenge. We are fearful of change a lot of times, right? And
Yes.
so when you're
Yes.
fearful of something, you stay behind, you stay stuck, you stay in the comfort zone and don't challenge yourself, okay? Then we do this all the time. Another challenge is that we are not honest with ourselves. We
Okay.
are not honest. We tell ourselves or do not tell ourselves the truth
Right.
about ourselves. Like, I'll give an example. My feelings were hurt because I wasn't invited to so and so's party. That's what we say inside.
Mm,
But
right.
we, if someone were to ask, were you invited to so and so's party? Oh, girl, no, but that's okay. It's all right. They'll
Yes.
do parties. We
Yeah.
don't tell ourselves that we are disappointed. We don't tell ourselves that uh, that we may have made a choice that wasn't the best.
Yeah.
We keep on going forward
We
and
keep pushing.
living in
Mhm.
the things that disappoint us, but we correct them by not facing them. Um,
Okay.
we're not introspective. I said that, and then we're not willing to change our attitude. We
Mm.
walk around with chips on our shoulders a lot of
Mhm.
times,
Yeah.
and think that that's okay, and it's okay because that's who I am. That's the attitude I want to have.
Do you
Or
think with
go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I'm
No, I was
done.
gonna say with
I'm
that
done.
okay, I was gonna ask with that well, one, that how am I doing? Asking yourself that, I never
Mhm.
thought of that
Yeah.
because we don't ask ourselves. I know I don't ask myself. I just get up,
Mhm.
keep it pushing, figure
That's
out what
right.
I gotta do next.
Mhm.
And I don't ask myself, and you're right, we'll ask everybody else, but we don't look in the mirror and say, "How are you doing?" And then being honest about how you're doing.
How you're
That's
doing.
the hard part because we're told, "Well, what do you have to complain about? What are you upset about?" Well, you have A, B, C, and D. And you're right. We ought to be grateful for everything we have, but we also have to be honest that sometimes, yeah, we might have all these things or we might be successful in these areas, but how are we really doing?
How are we doing? Right.
And the other thing, and I just forgot that quick. See, I was trying to take notes when oh, the chip on your shoulder. So
Mhm.
do you think it's 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 us telling ourselves that that's how we are, or do you think maybe we don't recognize we have that chip on our shoulder? Or maybe it's depending on the person, it might be a combination. What has
Absolutely.
been your experience with,
Yeah.
helping your
Mhm.
clients? What has been your
Mhm.
experience in that area?
Yeah. Yeah. I've had since I've been coaching, I've had only one person who coached with me for probably about 6 months, and she was
Mhm.
very busy, and she was very busy, and she was going through a lot of things. Um, but one of the things that she would not do was say that she was worthy of caring for herself,
Oh,
and it
okay.
disturbed me. It disturbed me so much because after 6 months of coaching, she chose a
Mhm.
package of 6 months, and that's usually the longest unless you want to move forward. And so by the
Okay.
time we finished, she still could not say that she was worthy of um, of self-care because she had so many other people to care about and she had her job. And I kept on
Mm.
thinking, are you telling, I mean, do you tell yourself that, or are you just saying that because it's, kind of being uh, humble,
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't figure it out. But
Or maybe a lack of confidence, maybe? Maybe she didn't feel confident enough that she deserved,
well,
you
yeah,
know.
and
Yeah.
that's what I kept on thinking. But this was a person who actually had bouts of cancer, so you
Yeah.
would
Oh,
anticipate
okay.
that she would care for herself in some way,
Right, right.
in this
Yeah,
way. But she was giving it
yeah.
all to family, to
Mm,
her job,
right,
and so I could not figure that out. I
right,
could not figure
right.
that out. Yeah.
Let me just say this, if you're on Facebook and you have a question, I won't be able to see your questions, so you'll have to come on over to YouTube to ask your questions. So just
Okay.
wanted to let those folks on Facebook know if you're on Facebook watching this. All right. So with that being said, in your coaching, how do you help women in our age group recognize and let go of those limiting beliefs that no longer serve them? Because we all
Well,
have them. I know
mhm.
I struggle with that. So what are your coaching? How do you help them get past that?
Sure. So I'm going to go back to a little bit of what we were just talking about. We were talking about asking ourselves how we're doing. Part of the
Yes.
journal with me on Tuesdays and Thursdays that I have, part of the practice of journaling, I asked, I ask people how they are doing, to ask themselves how they're doing. That's called checking in. And
Okay.
checking in is a way that you get up in the morning, you say, Angela, how are you doing today? Or how are you
Okay.
feeling today? What's your
Mhm.
mood like today? If you can't find the words, um, this is done in elementary school, okay, for
Okay.
self awareness. Is you say, what's your weather report today? Are you
Okay.
feeling sunny? Are you feeling cloudy? Are you feeling
Mm,
foggy or hazy? You feeling like,
okay.
there's an earthquake getting ready to go off? How are you doing today? Now, I learned this in my, wellness training, but I recently became a yoga instructor through a program called Breathe for Change. And Breathe for Change is actually for teachers, public school teachers or teachers, and
Mhm.
I wanted that because anything that you can tell a child to help themselves, adults need to adopt it. We have not adopted those same um, levels of concern for ourselves as we would do for a child in caring for ourselves. So you check in with yourself. Your teacher and your mother would say to you, how are you doing? How are
Right.
you doing after school? How was school today? So it is our responsibility for ourselves to check in before hopping on that treadmill, or I call it a hamster wheel,
Mhm.
before going to
Mhm.
work, right?
Yeah.
Before
Right.
taking care of everybody else, before
Right.
putting on our oxygen mask, so to speak. When we get out in the world, we need to know how we are doing. And that is key to self awareness. So the tools for this next question, you say, my form of help basically is done through conversations about how people are doing for this age group, for our age group, 50 and over.
Right.
We need that
Mhm.
same care that Johnny and Julie are getting in kindergarten. We need
Okay.
to be told, asked how we're doing. We need to check in on our emotions, our humanity, because we've been told that we are rock solid, we are strong, we're built like, stone, we
Right.
can't falter. And
Right.
not even the biggest and tallest buildings are created to uh, to not to bend or not to move up and down. There have to
Right.
be some give to them. They are if
Right.
not, they will break. And Black women don't are not supposed to bleed. We're not supposed to have pain when we give birth. We're not supposed to, cry. Don't you dare cry in that office, girl. You better get yourself to the restroom and shed those
Yeah.
tears. When that
Right.
man says
Right.
he's leaving you, you better not cry in front of him. You better take
Right.
that to the bathroom
Right.
and melt down on your knees and cry into a towel.
Right.
you know so
Right.
so we're supposed to ignore our emotions. So I tell people you need to get in touch with your humanity,
Yeah.
and so that you can live and thrive. Those are the
Right.
tools. So it's really about um, also knowing when to say no, when there's codependency, when you are pleasing
Mm,
everybody, and you
right.
can't say no. In fact, I'm going to have a workshop. I thought it was going to be in January, but it's going to be in February, on this
Okay.
this idea of being able to say no, a people
Okay.
pleaser, because some of us are groomed unknowingly to our parents to
Mm,
be um, the helpers, the parents
yeah.
to the parents, being and not living in our childhood, and never, don't you say no to me. Don't say no to me. You can't say no to me. You can't
Right.
say no to. So for pleasing people, we depend on acceptance by parents and others, because we say yes all the time until
Right.
it eats us up, and people can suck you dry because they can sense and smell the fact that you are an empath, and you're one who will say yes.
Yes.
I'll do this
Yeah.
for you. I'll
And
give you my whole paycheck, okay?
right. Right. Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's one
And
of the things. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, first I want to say hello to Butterfly Love, Seeking Sumi, and Mr. I know who this is, my husband, Pierre. Hi, baby. He's checking in to make sure he can hear and everything sounds good. So,
Okay,
but
good.
yeah, and you're right. We do. A lot of us are. I'm learning how. Well, I don't think I've ever have been truly a people pleaser. I was more of the, as my mother said, I was the black sheep. I was always running around giving her hell. But you're right. We are taught to, say no. No, you can't say no. You should, you want to be helpful. You want to be this, and you want to, make sure you're giving your all to your family and so forth and so on. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it becomes a problem when it's at the expense of our own well-being.
Mhm.
And like I said, no is a complete sentence. And a lot of times we figure that, okay, if we say no, we also have to have a reason behind that no, instead of just saying, no, I don't
No,
want to. No.
that's
And
right.
that's hard.
Mhm.
That's
It
really
is.
hard because you don't want to disappoint people, and you don't want them to think that you're not there to help them and be helpful, but
Mhm.
at what cost,
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly. And people don't want to lose friendships. They don't want to lose, you know, it, but at a certain point, and I'm going to speak for myself. I'm going to say I'm a witness. At a certain point, you get to the point where you're like, this isn't making me feel good, and this is a pattern that I'm repeating. And
yeah.
when you start repeating patterns, it means you're stuck somewhere, and it borderlines,
Mm,
as they say, when you do the same thing over and over again.
right.
That's not just
Expecting
repeating.
it.
That's something not right with your mind.
Right.
There's a belief, right?
Right.
Right. It's
So
it's a limiting belief, really.
would you call that a limiting belief if you're repeating the same thing?
So I don't want to say this, but it's people would say, "Girl, that's just crazy." When you keep repeating, it
Yeah.
is there's something emotional that needs to be healed.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
it's some and it takes practice,
Right.
and it's for a person who is quote unquote labeled empathetic, and
Oh.
they've crossed the line when
Mhm.
it starts bothering them emotionally. So it's time
Okay.
to, start backpedaling, learning some techniques on how to do that, how to, and it takes practice, these
Takes
techniques.
practice. Right.
It takes
Right.
practice to say no. It takes practice
Mm.
to not pick up the phone. Or it takes practice for someone to say, "Can I come over?" And you're like, well, it takes practice to just say no.
No, you're right. That's hard. That's a hard word to say, especially to, yeah, like you said, to other adults. We can say no easy to our kids, but
Mhm.
when it's, family or friends, or you're right, we don't want to lose friends. We don't want to lose that connection. And to me, if you say no and you lost a friend, then was that really a friend to begin with?
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, so
And
we have
and
to
and
also
there
look at that.
absolutely, and there are problems with the children. Some people can't say no to their children,
That's true. That's true.
right? especially especially at this age when they believe, and you also believe that, I could, I can loan them this, I can do this now, I can.
Right.
And it's hard to say no, especially if there's a grandchild associated with it. And I don't have
Yeah.
any grandchildren,
It
but
can be a
I can
little
only know.
it can be a little difficult, because we have 2 grandchildren and,
Mhm.
it can be hard, but we both have to realize, if your mom says no, we're not gonna turn around and say yes just because we're the grandparents. So,
That's right.
multifaceted. Yeah, thank you. That was the phrase I was looking for. When you keep doing the same thing over and
Right.
over expecting a different result is insanity. Definitely.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that was the actual phrase I was trying to think of in my head, but thank
That's
you.
yes.
Um, so what practical strategies or tools do you recommend for encouraging women to have self-love and resilience? Are there any specific practices that you help women with, or
Yeah.
you even do yourself?
Oh yeah. So encouraging tools for self love include, um, I'm going to go in order as
Okay.
they actually came to me in my life. Um, Basically stillness, getting
Mm.
accustomed to being quiet, being still, and
I'm gonna
and
take some notes. Hold on, let me get my pen. I'm taking some notes. Being still.
so it really is important because we don't spend enough time in stillness. So we can't hear a lot of things. We can't hear ourselves think, because we are continually on this hamster wheel. If you live in a busy city and you're taking public transportation, or if you're in a car, you're driving, usually turn on the radio or something to keep you company, or you want to hear something or hear music, but we don't take the time to be quiet and still. And what I realized when actually kind of busting out of my house, when I was angry, was the fact that once I started walking and it was quiet and it was just me and I could hear my heart beat, I could hear my breath as I went up hills, or further along on my walk and sat at a bench and it was quiet, I could hear nature. And that's one of the things that I prescribe, so to speak, is that you sit still and you be quiet so that you can at least hear yourself in its natural state. And that's breathing, that's life.
Right.
That's you can hear yourself. Um, and then if you aren't already practicing things that are quiet, like prayer, or if you know, prayer is a practice that you have, or meditation. I encourage people to learn how to meditate, because meditation is not just being still, it is also kind of quieting the mind as much as you, and it does take practice. Some
Oh,
people give
yes.
up on meditation.
Yes.
But it really is an energetic practice. When you start quieting your mind and
Mhm.
you finish, you feel like you have enough energy then to go on about your day, believe it or not. It's
Right.
really energetic. Um,
Mhm.
the next thing is, of course, journaling. And
Right.
I believe that journaling became something natural to me because I was just able to just unload, I call it downloading on pages of paper
Mhm.
in a free flow mode, almost a stream of consciousness. Um, it didn't matter. I crossed things out. I kept on going. And I didn't know that what I was doing was going to be therapeutic to me.
Mhm.
But I found out quickly that it is a therapeutic practice. And and more so, it became something like a planning tool, kind of ordering my steps. So it was getting to the
Mhm.
kind of like, um, you know, the song, the gospel song, "Order My Steps."
Right.
I started reflecting on, this is what I'm doing. I'm putting things in order for myself. I'm clearing
Okay.
up. I'm now self-aware. I hear myself breathing. I'm out in nature. I'm
Mhm.
quiet. Now I'm ordering myself because I found that I need this in my life. And so things come up. Finally, I believe that, bless you, that affirming yourself is key.
Mhm.
And that is probably one of the last things that I started doing on my own self healing journey, was starting to affirm myself, stop
Good.
saying the negative things about
Yes.
me,
Yes.
but
Mhm.
saying, you know, the encouraging things about me and saying the
Right.
good things about me. Because,
Right.
you know, we all, and, and I was just talking with my eldest child, my son. Now, what's good about you? What is good about
Mm.
you? Because there's so much good about you. All I'm hearing is what's, you know, a generation of young people who compare themselves to others and are so unpleased with themselves. It
Yes.
just really, really bothers me. And
Yes.
so, yeah. And as a young person, I didn't have that experience. My mother and father were always talking to me and affirming good things about me and my sisters. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
and I never compared myself to other people. I mean, I was like, God, I wish I had all that money that they have, but I got to do it for myself. Good for them.
Right.
But I wasn't like
Right.
wanting to take parts of them to put on me or to make,
Right.
So I started affirming myself because I was having problems in the workplace
Okay.
or in a neighborhood that I uh, lived in that was, not of my persuasion, or,
Right, right,
the
right.
elected position that I was in, I had to start saying, you know what? You are all of that and a bag of chips. You are so cool. You are,
Yeah.
you can do this. I am, confident. I am affirming myself. And from time to time, I will slip. But those are
Yeah.
the tools and the strategies that I prescribe.
I know after so many, and we talked about this in the beginning because, you know, if you've lived to 50 plus, then, you've seen some things
Hmm.
and you've been also on some level beaten down by the system, beaten down by the societal pressures of one, being a woman, and
Yeah,
then two, if you're, being a black woman or a woman of color, however you want to identify, but, and then trying to um, get that out of your head and reaffirm that, hey, like you said, I'm a bag of chips plus. That
hmm,
takes time and it takes practice. And like you said, the meditation, quieting the mind and getting into yourself and healing your own, healing your energy, healing your mind. And that does take practice. And that's, I mean, we talked about this earlier in my I'm not really good at sitting down journaling. I enjoy meditation, and it's taken me over a year to get to the point where I don't ever completely clear my mind. I think that's impossible
no,
unless you're just this enlightened yogi, but that's really but I've been able to come to a point where at least some of the chatter in my head kinda gets pushed to the back and I can
yes,
focus, but it's taken me a year to learn how to do that,
that's
and
awesome.
I'm still practicing it.
Mhm,
So, there were some other, things because I was also saying, "You know what, I'm asking these questions, but I also wanna, get my own ideas." So, there's some other areas where you can share resources, books, podcasts. I'm a podcast fan YouTube and podcasts. I listen to all genres, all types of podcasts and
mhm,
YouTube channels because
mhm.
there is, yes, negative information out there, but there's so much great information out
Yes,
there. And I'm really loving to see more and more Black women coming out, talking about energy healing, talking about yoga, talking about the different modalities to heal ourselves. And
mhm.
that, I mean, my husband's like, you're listening to another YouTube channel. I'm like, yes. I mean, and like I said, I just listen to so many different things because one thing is not going to necessarily heal you. It
That's
might
right.
be 3 or 4 things, and your 3 or 4 things might be totally different than what I need to heal me.
That's right.
So yeah, sharing those resources with, the ladies in your group or, whoever you see that needs healing.
Yeah.
Um, and then highlighting the importance of celebrating milestones,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
because we forget to do that. We're like, "Okay,
That's
I did
right.
that," it wasn't that big of a deal, and we downplay our successes,
That's
and we
right.
shouldn't be doing that no matter how small they are. We need to make sure that we, um, give ourselves a little pat on the back and said, "Okay, you
That's
did that.
right.
Next now, let's keep pushing." So,
Absolutely. I believe it.
yeah.
I really believe in that. I some of the people or resources that I like lately of late
Mhm,
include some people I've met in person or through the internet, and I'll
mhm,
share that's closely related to journaling. Um, well, somewhat related to journaling is a woman by the name of Dara Herring on
mm,
Instagram. Dara creates, Dara creates, and
mhm.
she's a painter. But
Oh,
she was
yeah,
going
I
to.
think I follow her. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
okay, good.
I think so, yeah.
And she was going to do be a facilitator at a retreat that I was going to hold in Mexico City.
Mhm.
which did not take place. But she was going to do basically creating within in a journal. So
Mhm.
doodling is a great thing. Creating things is very therapeutic because we are all creators, but we don't utilize our creative minds quite a bit. I'm
Right.
one of those. Um, and meditate a new meditator that I've become aware of, and you can find her on Insight Timer. Her name is Giovanna um, Mayritz, and that's
Okay.
JAVONNA I think it's RMAERHYT. I forget how to spell it.
Okay.
I'll look it up. But
Okay.
yeah, she does meditation and yoga, and she encouraged me to show myself in doing yoga because I have put that
Mm.
away on a shelf
Right.
after getting after getting certified, and I will be showing my first yoga video is chair yoga um,
Okay.
on January 25th on her one of her, on her YouTube channel.
Okay.
So there's yoga, there's chair yoga. If if a lot of
Mm.
yoga is not you don't feel comfortable doing yoga,
Mhm.
there's
Mhm.
meditation.
Okay.
There's contemplative prayer, which is almost like meditation, but it is more in the biblical realm,
Okay.
the Christian realm.
Mhm.
You can also, and one of the tools that I refer people to, because I have been a member for a well, quite a while, is Insight Timer. You can find meditation, music, stories for to sleep to, all kinds of things on this app. So those are a
Okay.
few of the tools besides, many books um, that I've recommended. At one time, I did, well, prior to 2024, I had an active book club.
Mhm.
So anything self-help books I could refer people to, I
Okay.
could, and I will start doing that again.
Okay.
They okay, very good. Multifaceted founder name.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'll
Yeah.
leave that up for a minute so folks wanna check her out. She'll
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so oh,
Yeah.
glass half full. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Yes, glass half full. Yeah. Good to see her.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how do you help Black women change the way they think about aging to focus on more of our strengths and new opportunities? Because, I mean, you and yourself, you're an example of not letting age or anything keep you from saying, "Hey, I'm moving across. I'm getting out. I'm moving to another country, blah blah blah." And because there is one, the thinking, and part of that thinking is fear. So how have you been able to, even for yourself, make not letting age be something you focus on, saying, I can't do that. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do that. I'm scared, so
Yeah.
forth.
Well, I think what I actually didn't start thinking of myself as being what I call mature until probably when I was 58. And I told my mother, I said, my birthday is coming up. And she said, "Oh, yeah, I know that." She said, "But how old are you going to be?" And I said, "I'm going to be 58." She said, "Girl, you are getting old." And not until she said that to me did I was like, oh, I hadn't really thought. And then 59 came, and I'm like, hmm. And I haven't really celebrated my birthday like big parties or anything.
Yeah.
And I really haven't. I want to, but I just haven't. Now that I'm 60, I want to do that. And I think everyone should celebrate. It's like, to me, celebrating our birthdays at this stage in life is a
Mhm.
celebration of experience. It's a party of life. Like, it's gratitude. I think we need to do it.
Yeah.
But what I do practically believe that women should do is to realize that it's not over. There's a there's a gospel song called "It's Not Over Till It's Over," and I played that quite a bit back in 20. I'm gonna say 2019, 2018, 2019. It was on a
Uh-huh.
morning playlist, and it was because I had gone through so much, a new job, separation from a marriage. I had gone through um, moving to a new city. Um,
Mhm.
no one that I knew, well, I knew a couple of people who I used to work with who lived there, but I had to get used to a lot of things. And if I had allowed myself to think that, oh, I'm getting older and I'm going to be lonely and I'm not going to be able to do the things that I thought I was going to be able to do, having these beliefs that, there wasn't enough time to have the fun that I'd been
Right.
wanting to have for a long time. If I'd
Mhm.
allowed that to happen to me, then I would have been stuck. So basically, it is what I told myself was, Kathy, what was the last when was the last time that you were really, really happy when you were by yourself? And that was probably when I was about 19 or 20. Now, I didn't go all the way back there and start, you know, dancing and going out to clubs and stuff like
Right.
that. No.
Right.
But I thought about the things that made me happy. Well, during that time, I was experiencing newness and independence. And I
Yeah.
would find myself doing fun things on my own that made me happy. I wasn't going out by myself at night or,
Mhm.
or going to bars or anything like that. But what I
Right,
was
right.
doing was I was shopping at different places. I was looking at furniture. I was buying albums. I was doing all kinds of things that made me happy. I bought a big old giant tank to put goldfish in. It made me happy. Half of them died, but I was just doing all the things that made me happy because I
Yeah.
thought about when was that time. I want to feel that feeling. Now, one
Yeah.
of the things that someone mentioned to me is don't go back all the time. Don't go back looking for that. Create something new
New
for yourself.
experiences. Yeah.
New experiences now. And that
Yeah.
is what how I want to encourage people to do. And Eckhart Tolle, the guru, one of the gurus about newness and about now, is living in the
Yes.
present and being happy now. Find
And
your
that is a
happiness now.
and that is a mindset. That is a
Right.
mindset because
That's
a lot of us do live in the past and regretting or wishing, "Oh, I wish, I will blah blah," or worried about the future, and neither one of them. We can't do anything about what happened in the past, and I try and look at the past as, "Okay, yeah, some dumb things, I did some dumb things, but those were learning experiences. What have I learned from those?" And then worrying about my future, I can't do anything about that. I can plan, I can prepare,
that's
but
right.
ultimately I can't do anything at this point about the future.
That's right.
So,
That's
there's
right.
no sense in focusing on that, so staying in the present is a mindset change, is a shift. It's how
It's
we have to yeah, we have to, again, work on that.
that's right. It's all about taking action, and really moving. There are some beliefs that say that you are not supposed to desire things. You're supposed to just be. Well, that's a hard practice. Is not to have
Mhm.
any desires of things that you want emotionally. I believe that we want to reach the place of happiness, contentment, joy.
Right.
I know I do. I
Yes.
know that that if we allow ourselves to be in the present, the future is not necessarily so far. It's just the next moment. So there is
Right.
really no real future. It is just
Yeah.
to
The
be
next moment.
the next
Yeah.
moment, right? The
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
moment.
That's
We're
true.
experiencing that right now. And right
Right.
now, I'm presently happy. I'm happy to be here right now. So we just have to
Yeah.
keep it rolling, keep it
Keep
moving.
it rolling.
Yeah,
Also, I think another good thing we could focus on, individually is promote role models or success stories of Black women who are thriving, who are in their 50s and beyond
yeah,
thriving, because there's plenty of them, and we don't hear enough about those.
that's right.
Um, and, I turned 58 this year,
Right.
and and in my head, and I have to stop telling myself that story. Am I too old to be moving to another country? Am I blah blah? And then I, love going on YouTube and seeing women who are doing it by themselves. Because honestly, I'll probably have to do it by myself until my husband can get over there. So it's going to be me doing something that I'm going, okay, am I going to let the fear stop me, or let my mind say, well, maybe at 58 you don't need to do. No, I need to do it. I have to push through. And so listening to ladies like you and Krishan's a little younger than from Blacks and Global. She's a little younger than us, but she's still in her 50s.
She's still in her 50s.
Right, and listening to ladies like you give me that encouragement to say, "Okay, you can do it.
Hmm.
Don't let that number or anything else deter you. You can do it."
That's right.
So,
That's
I
right.
just think, we need to have those role models, of ladies who are doing it at
Mhm.
this stage in their lives. So,
I agree. That's
um, yeah, yeah.
mhm.
S multifaceted. She's just yeah, my young and dumb self has transformed me into the person that, I am today and will keep growing, definitely. And that's
Very.
another thing. That's another thing. We should always be trying to grow and better ourselves.
Oh,
That
sure.
shouldn't stop. I mean,
Absolutely.
it stops when you're, 6 feet under.
That's
But
right.
and that's when it stops. But otherwise, we always need to
Yeah,
continue to grow and not dwell on, um, our past mistakes. Learn from those. Don't look at those as failures. Look at those as,
absolutely.
"Okay,
Lessons.
I learned from that, and what did I
Mhm.
learn? And let's keep it moving." So,
That's
just
right.
keep it pushing.
Keep it pushing. I agree. And
Keep
I
it
think one of the things that I've always had I guess the personality that I wanted to learn all about everything, you know. Unfortunately, what do they say? You're a man. What is it? You learn some things, but you don't master them. I mean, there are a lot of things like that, but I like to try things out to see if I can master them,
right,
right?
right.
And I think the career path that I ended up having was a good career path for me. I didn't see it coming, but
Oh,
as a librarian, a law librarian, and so
oh,
I was always learning because I had to
mhm,
learn in order to be able to provide resources to the people that I was
right,
serving
in
who
that
were
field,
attorneys,
yeah,
constantly learning. But now
yeah,
I'm in a mode to learn to create. That's where I want to be.
yeah,
And
right,
I'm still learning. I'm learning new crochet stitches. Learning, uh,
right.
I'm learning, I'm getting ready to learn more editing of videos.
Good luck with that, 'cause that's why I try and do live so I don't have to edit, but I don't always like to do live, so I'm like, "Okay, give it to my husband." I'm like, "You edit it." But no, that's a good
Yeah,
thing to know,
yeah, well,
especially yeah,
yeah,
that's a good thing to know.
yeah.
So, good for you. That's not on my list. Editing, mm-mm,
Now, did I
no,
say I
so
will learn, but I may not master?
that's okay, that's okay.
Yeah, so
Um,
go
so
ahead.
I was gonna ask, so how do you approach helping, women develop a forward thinking, like growth-oriented viewpoint while addressing, their past experiences?
Oh, yeah, that question was interesting to me. Let me check what I wrote down, because I believe my answer to that has a lot to do with dreaming and
Uh-huh.
desires, really.
Mhm.
Jack of all trades, master of none. Thank you. Thank you for that. Um, yeah, so dreaming is a big part of that. And
Mhm.
there are quite a few people who don't dream. And when I say dream, I mean uh, daydreaming,
Mhm.
as well as um, just kind of, you know, sleeping at night and dreaming, allowing the dreams that you have are live and rich, and you wake up in the morning,
Mhm.
you're like, oh, I dreamt that, and that happened to me last
Right,
night. I'm
right.
still trying to figure out. I had a pen and pad of paper. I wrote it down. It was an interesting dream. It was very vivid. Prior
Mhm.
to that, I had another dream that was really vivid, and it was so enjoyable. And I'm like, I want to continue dreaming those dreams, but allowing yourself to dream. But then when you finish dreaming and you catch up to your dream in real
Uh-huh.
life, because our dreams are out there. I've learned this. Our dreams are out there waiting for
Mhm.
us to find them, to catch up
Oh,
to them. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's
That I've
almost
never heard, but
it's
okay.
it's like a manifestation. So you have this dream and you're like, wow, wouldn't that be cool? And this actually happened to me a couple of times.
Uh-huh.
And but you catch up to your dream. Look, some of
Okay.
us don't even dream to have something to catch up to. They don't when I say dreaming, I really mean the actual dream, but I also mean the what ifs. What if I could do this? The
Okay.
thoughts about growing and doing things and making yourself happy and
Yeah.
exploring and learning, all of these things, can you actually allow yourself the openness to think about how you could do things? A lot of us get
Okay.
trapped in, "Well, how much is that going to cost me?" And what, what now? It's true. And who's going to watch the dog? And
Yeah.
how am I going to, get rid of all this stuff that I have? You know,
Yeah.
we
Right.
get trapped in that and we don't move forward. But I believe that if you allow yourself to open up, and this is where all of the things that I said before, self-awareness, being honest with yourself, being honest and saying, I really do want this. I really want this. But you've told yourself, that's okay. That's never going to happen. You know, that's not that's
Right.
that's not what I really want. I just think I want it, but you really do. But
Right.
it's a matter of changing the mind, allowing it to believe in something that you really want to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Right.
Did
And
that
for
answer
you,
the
how
question?
yeah.
Did I answer the
Yeah,
question?
you did. You
Okay.
did. And
Okay.
but and I know there's probably some people out there who are saying, "Well, how do I change my mind? How do I?" So what tips would you give them on at least starting the process? Because it is a process, and like we said, you have to practice, but how do you start the process of changing your way of thinking? I know
Mhm.
for me, I can give an example. The When I started this whole endeavor, and I've said this many times on my other episodes, I would have never thought 2 years ago, I'd be on YouTube because I'm the kind of person, I don't like to be in front of the camera. I don't like attention. I don't blah, blah, blah. I'm not a public speaker. I've never liked
Mhm.
being a public speaker, but I knew that I wanted to make a change. I wanted to get out of corporate America. I was tired of that, and I wanted to make a change within myself so I didn't feel stuck. And I started listening while I slept to meditations and to different meditations, like how to stop being in fear, how to just different ones. I can't name
Mhm.
all the ones off the top of my head, but I did that because I knew it wasn't on the conscious level, it was on my subconscious level that I needed to make a change. So every night, I don't do it as much, I probably do it like 3 or 4 times a night now, but every night, had my earbuds in, and that's what I would listen to on repeat all night long, and
Yeah.
that helped me not feel so stuck and brought me out of this fear of doing this thing called YouTube. So
That's
that was, my experience. Is that kinda how what you would tell,
yeah.
a client?
That's right. And one of the things that I do is I don't give people, as a coach, you don't tell people what to do. They
Oh,
have
yeah.
to find out what will work for them.
Right.
And most recently, I'm going to say I've had the best coaching clients ever because
No?
they they come in and they're kind of like hungry for change. They they want something to happen to them. They want transformation. They just don't know
Yeah,
how to do it. And so,
okay.
in fact, I wrote this. It's basically it's it's having a conversation with them, asking them what their why is. Why do you want to
Okay.
change? Why do
Okay.
you want to make a change? You know, what do you envision for the future for yourself? The next,
Mhm.
what are you willing? This is what is another. What are you willing to sacrifice?
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. These are the questions
Okay.
that I ask, and that calls one to be introspective and turn their eyes, close their eyes so they can look inward. Now I'm closing my eyes
Look
right now.
inward.
Closing my eyes so that I can
Mhm.
look inside of me.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Got it? Like
Yeah.
literally. And that's what the meditation will do. It will take away some of the other, stuff,
Right.
the crap out of mind and put
Right.
the beauty inside. But then where else does it matter? It matters in the other part of your body, and that is the heart, the core,
Yeah.
where the energy is. And that
Okay.
is that is where people have to learn how to get in practice whatever way they find. It might be yoga, it might be running. You hear people who
Right.
run get into this zone.
Yeah.
They can
Yep.
start
Yep.
experiencing euphoric. I did it 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
my life, and I want
Yeah.
to capture that again. But
Yeah.
when I meditate, I can feel that, and that's why I call it an energetic practice.
Okay.
It's and
Okay.
when I walk for long walks, and I
Mhm.
feel like ooh, and even in yoga, when you do uh, heart opening, which is there are different postures and poses that your chest is opened wider. And
Okay.
okay, and it's restorative yoga. Well, you're restoring parts of the body that have either been kind of burnt out or haven't been moved in a while, or haven't been changed. A lot of older people, mature people,
Right.
love restorative yoga, including me,
Yeah.
because it's slow,
Mhm.
slower. But
Right.
if you allow the heart to open and this core gets warmed up, it feels
Mhm.
really good afterwards. Just like the hot yoga. When you finish
Yes.
hot
Mhm.
yoga, you feel so ooh,
Right.
yeah, when you get finished. That
Right.
is where you want to be. But it takes
Okay.
time unless you really want that coaching and you get those questions thrown at you like, why do you want to do this? When do you want to do it? What do you want
Okay.
from it? And
Right.
what is your plan? That's where the journaling
Okay.
comes in. What is your plan
Okay.
for it? It's not me. How will you feel if you envision dating again? That's a new one for me. People don't
Uh-oh.
want, people don't want to talk about that, but I do. And so, how does that make you feel? How does that
Right.
make you feel
Yeah.
about um, sharing time with someone?
Yeah.
Having
Yeah.
conversation with with someone who has the same interests as you. You know,
Okay.
who might be dreaming the same things of you, of travel, of experiencing new places, new things, you know, how is that gonna, or what do you want in your next year to do? You know,
Right.
so it's a lot,
Okay.
but it's
Okay.
encouraging. I help to encourage through introspection as well as cheering people on.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And I just have 2 more questions for you. So
Okay,
what tips can you share for building a supportive environment that helps women stay focused on a positive mindset change?
sure. I believe that there is no place for us to be lonely anymore.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's very important that people of our in our mature bracket are meeting new people, connecting with people who we've enjoyed connecting with in the past. Um,
Mhm.
um, we need to be environments where people are cheering us on
Okay.
and letting
And
go
no
of.
no negativity.
That's right, no negativity. And in fact, on I think it was Thursday. I think Kim S was listening where I talked about a interview that Maya Angelou had done with a while back, but it was basically about growing up at this stage
Mhm.
instead of growing
Yeah.
old, and being
I like
around people who want to grow up. Growing up is growth and allowing, even no matter what age, who want to continue their life growing up
right.
as opposed to
Mhm.
growing old. Those who grow old just think about their credit cards. They think about, this is Maya Angelou, I'm paraphrasing. They think about their
Okay.
credit cards. They think about trying to find a new parking space. They don't think about, you know, having fun and laughing and dancing and experiencing newness.
Right.
And I'm paraphrasing. I actually have it on my phone. I could read it, um, but basically growing up, and that's what I want to encourage people to do, is to grow up. James Baldwin actually spoke on the same subject in an interview as well. You can find both of these interviews on YouTube. And I forget how he spoke about growing up. I think he was talking about uh, him being an expat and how the leadership needed to grow up and make
Yeah.
change,
Yeah. Yeah.
transformative change. I think that's what
Right.
he meant, but still the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, my final question: what does being unapologetically 50 plus mean to you?
Oh, wow.
And anyone can answer this in the comments.
Okay.
So, ladies, this is for
Unapologetically.
all of you. What does it mean to you?
It means that I get to choose um, how I want to be free, and not apologizing for any mishap, any pivot, any change of mind, any lessons learned. Just, yeah, and accepting myself.
Okay.
Yeah, accepting myself and my choices.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let folks know how they can get
Oh,
or reach you, watch you, reach you, whatever. How can folks get
sure.
in contact with you?
Sure. Well, I didn't put them down, but you can give, I have a website, and it is Kathy Hampton Wellness.com.
Okay.
All right.
And
That's
I'll
the
have
easy.
that in the description. I have it,
Okay.
so I'll have it in
Yeah,
the
I think you
description
have that.
below. Yeah.
And then
Yep.
on
Yep.
Instagram, it's Wellside Retreats. Oh, that's great. I choose what defines who I am and what I can have. That's right.
Hmm.
And yeah, I have a new Substack account where I'm writing a
Oh,
little more.
okay.
And I don't think I gave that to you because I hadn't
Yeah,
done.
send it to me and I'll put it in the description. Yeah.
Okay,
Or you can, or I don't know if you can,
let me
you can
see if I
probably
can.
post it right now.
Yeah, let me see if I can
And if
get that.
not, you can give it to me and I will make sure I put it in the description.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I like multifaceted. Drop the notion that self care is selfish. Not so. It is necessary to love and care for yourself.
There you
Definitely.
go. Absolutely.
Definitely. Yep. I will actually be doing a podcast on there with my co-host
Okay.
at some point on that because yeah, it's self-care is definitely not selfish.
No. And
Oh, there it
it
is.
and selfishness is a good thing. There's a woman. I, I got rid of so many books, but when I moved, but a young woman
Yeah.
who published a book about really not conforming to the norms. She never got married, did not want to ever get married, not want to have any children. And family
Yeah.
members are saying, "You're so selfish. You're so," she said, "Yeah, I am. And it's okay for me to be selfish. Selfish is being more of yourself, being
Yeah.
like yourself. And this is who I
Yeah.
am. So there's nothing wrong with being selfish. Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
And I
it's
think
bigger.
that's
Go, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, and speaking to the lady you're talking about, I don't think there's anything, and I think not our country, I think society has made us feel that if we don't get married or don't have children, there's something wrong with you. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, it's not for everybody, and that's okay.
That's
That's okay.
And it's
So,
better for everyone
right,
if people get to make their choices for themselves,
right,
of what how
right.
they want to live their lives. So
Exactly,
uh, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, Kathy, I truly appreciate you coming on and changing your schedule and all
So,
the things that went on, but I appreciate it. This
mm,
whole 50, doing this new podcast, because as you know, I do a podcast also with my husband on this
yeah,
channel, but I was like, I want to do something just for the ladies. I'm getting
that's
to this stage in my life where I'm like, I want to interact with ladies in my own age range. I want them to be, preferably Black women that I can sit and talk and learn from. And, I'm about to hit the 60 mark and I want to learn from ladies who are there so I can know what to expect. And so this is really a blessing to me to do this and have, so many different ladies coming on and, talking about different topics that, that impact us at this age.
Sure.
So I appreciate you coming on. I'm sure I'd want to have you on again because
Sure.
you have a wealth of knowledge that I just enjoy listening to. So thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
guys for joining us. Please, I'm building this community, so please remember to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when I put out new content. And if you aren't already part of Kathy's tribe on YouTube, please head over there and join Miss Kathy. I
Thank
love her
you.
journaling.
Appreciate
So
you.
you're
Thank you. I
welcome, love.
appreciate you.
So
You- Can I say one thing? I
you
don't
sure
know.
can.
I don't know. I think it's interesting that you said that it took a while for you to want to do the YouTube. You seem so natural
Oh,
at it.
I
I
don't
mean,
feel natural sometimes. Feel like I'm stumbling, but thank you, thank you,
no, very good.
thank
I'm
you,
glad.
thank
I'm glad
you.
that you went through with it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
followed yourself, right?
I did. And I was supposed to come out to Portugal, and my plans have changed. We're supposed to come out in March and April, but I'll be there definitely in June. Because if my sister can't make it in June, I'm coming by myself. Because I still
Okay.
got to do my second scouting. So hopefully you will be in town because I will be coming into Porto and we
Okay.
can get together and break bread or something.
There. Absolutely. I'll show you around.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so
Thank
I'll
you.
I'll let you know a little closer to that time, exactly my dates and stuff, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you,
All right,
Angela,
Kathy. Thank you
and
again for
nice to
joining
speak
me.
with you.
And thank you, everybody. We truly appreciate you. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.